Hi,
Hi.
welcome back. So around 4 weeks ago I made an Ultimate 3.0 Honkai Star Rail tier list, and for the time I believe it was pretty perfect. However, with the release of 3.0 and with all the meta changes and shifts and all that good or bad stuff, I wanted to pile all of those up in one video and discuss them all at once, using the help of that 4-week old tier list and the new one I made just now. If you're curious to what the old tier list was, I highly encourage you to watch that video, but if you don't want to, then here it is up on screen right now. There are going to be some more changes in the future, but I'm not going to be making a tier list video every single month. Next tier list will probably be around the end of 3.7 or 3.8. Either way, this video is going to be talking about all the meta changes that happened because of 3.0. Before we start, you should like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this in the future and join the Express Run Discord server. We're a lovely community to hang out with, all about video games and anime, and no matter what you may be interested in, you'll find someone to chat with. I want you to let me know what you thought of 3.0 in the comments, and especially the story, because I'm pretty interested in what the community has to say. Anyway, let's stop yapping and let's get on to it. So, the who, what, and why tiers haven't changed at all from last time. Still the same old units you really shouldn't use if you're playing for the meta. However, the Bro Fell Off tier lost Jingliu and the A tier lost Jingyuan. I put a whole new tier just for these two units, which is AB, for units that have kinda been reignited but whom you probably still shouldn't pull for. If you got them before, they're definitely not as useless as they were, but definitely not the best. Jingliu is definitely much better because of Sunday, and will be much better the more content is shilled towards Big Herda, since they're basically the same unit dealing with the same types of damage. So at least for a while, Jingliu won't be completely useless and can definitely clear a good amount, until they stop shilling Big Herda in the endgame content. As for Jingyuan, he's just an Aglaia light. He's definitely not worth pulling for when she exists, but he is also not completely useless. He is not a budget version since they're both 5-star units, so definitely don't pull on his next rerun, just get Aglaia. However, because he is Aglaia light, he is also definitely not useless at all, and we'll see a lot of use as Aglaia shield in the endgame content for a while. The tiers that probably saw the most change were A and S. In the old list, the A, really good tier, had Fugue, Remembrance MC, Bronya, Jade, Black Swan, Sparkle, and Luocha. Now it only has the last 4. They're just really good units, worth less than 90 pulls, but if you lose the 50-50 you probably shouldn't try to get them. Now Bronya and Remembrance MC are an S tier, because they're both must-build units that are free, or technically free in the case of Bronya, since she's a standard banner unit and we got 2 free standard 5-stars in the game. The reason I consider Bronya to be better than Sparkle is because she's like a Sunday light for Remembrance units, and is also a best-in-slot character for Boot Hill. Now Sunday is slightly better for Boot Hill than Bronya, but only because of the energy he gives, not much else. It's definitely smarter to reserve Sunday for someone else and use Bronya. Sparkle isn't best in slot basically anywhere, while Bronya is more or less equal to a best in slot character for Boot Hill. Maybe I'm being a little harsh on Sparkle, but I really don't see her anywhere these days. In S tier, Himiko is now definitely the highest value. I would put her in a higher tier, but she doesn't fit the criteria of those higher tiers. She's just a must-build character, especially if you have Fugue. With Fugue, she's on par with most limited DPS units, even Firefly or Rappa, but again, she needs Fugue to perform, while they only need Harmony MC. Harmony MC is also the lowest value in this tier after Bronya since they got replaced by Fugue, but they're still incredibly powerful, so don't look past them. Or you can look past them in a Remembrance MC since they're also very powerful. And they will be a lot better for the new meta and new characters. They're like another Bronya but a bit better since they're best in slots in more situations. Definitely a must build unit. Herda, Moza, and March are still here, while Moza and March are slightly lower in value because of a reason we'll talk about in a bit. Pella is still here and is higher in value than Moza and March for the same reason. And Tingyun is still here because she's still very good. SS tier also saw some changes in the form of Facia and Fugue most importantly. Fugue is here just because she's a very strong premium unit that you definitely don't need, but is a very powerful unit if you get her. She makes Rappa and Boot Hill definitely better than Firefly, and she makes Himiko insanely powerful as well as Linkshell. The second change, and probably the most drastic one in this whole update, is Facia and Acheron being here, rather than the must-pull units tier. I already spoke about why Facia was less useful in the previous video, so if you want an in-depth version of that explanation, go watch the video. But the condensed version is simply there aren't going to be enough single target and wind weak situations for her to really shine as the best in slot DPS. While I did say in that video that Acheron was going to be still very powerful as long as Aglaia was shielding the endgame content, we already know what the 3.1 MOC has in store, and there isn't even a single lightning weak enemy in either half of MOC 12, so both Aglaia and Acheron aren't going to be too powerful there. I do believe Acheron is going to be better than Aglaia though, because Acheron has the luxury of ignoring 20% lightning resistance. Wherever Aglaia is shielded, Acheron is going to be very powerful, but it seems like Aglaia isn't a very big focus of the 3.x update, and if she's not shielded enough then Acheron isn't going to be super powerful either. So neither of them are must pulls, they're just very insane premium units to have, and they also definitely have more value than Fei Xiao in my opinion. If you're worried about any of these three needing a character, then even though Fei Xiao does have more F2P options than Aglaia and Acheron, her single target weakness is really going to start to show these days if you don't have Robin. So Fei Xiao needs Robin as much as Acheron needs Jiao Qiao, and as much as Aglaia needs Sunday. In the must pulls, SSS tier is basically the same units, even though Ruan Mei definitely lost a lot of value, since break teams are no longer shielded as hard. You still have 2 teams though, and break teams are still very powerful, and she is still an incredibly powerful generalist support. The only DPS in the SS tier is Big Herda. She's a main focus of the 3.x update and will be getting shielded very hard in the coming endgame content, as also proven by the 3.1 MOC, which is also largely AoE and of course weak to ice. Also, Tribby coming out in 3.1 is going to be Big Herda's best support right after Remembrance Trailblazer. Since she's getting a best in slot support, you bet your ass she's going to be shielded very hard. For now, I don't really have enough info about Tribby and Maida by the way, to really put them in this tier list. They'll have to wait a couple of days or possibly even weeks. Herda is also stronger than Fei Xiao, Acheron, and Aglaia, even if they are all shielded just the same in endgame content. In everybody's best case scenarios, Big Herda is going to be the best, Fei Xiao and Acheron in second place being mostly equal, and Aglaia being third place, slightly weaker than Fei Xiao and Acheron, but it doesn't really matter in the end. Now as a final message, it really doesn't matter who you pull in this game unless your pulling choices are absolutely terrible. Make sure to pull for Waifu and Husband over meta and invest horizontally and you will be able to clear all endgame content. I'm just making this video as a commentary as to what's happening in the current meta. Just because Fei Xiao and Acheron aren't in SS doesn't mean they're absolutely insane. And just because Aglaia is slightly weaker than Acheron doesn't mean you won't clear if you get her instead. You'll even be able to clear with Jingliu if you don't want to pull for Big Herda. So that's it, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to tell me your thoughts about this in the comments, as well as like and subscribe for more content like this in the future and join the Express Join Discord server for a lovely community all about video games and anime to hang out with. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time.